Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on staff lists, User Control Made Easy. I am your host, Ryan Clancy, and I am the Client Success Associate here at Educational Networks. Before we begin, we just have a few things to go over. Depending on the type of setup that you're using, your screen may look just a little bit differently. If you are using the web browser, you're going to use this setup over here. To ask questions here, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the chat icon. Then type your questions into this text field here. If you're using the desktop app, you'll use this setup over here on the left. To ask questions here, click on the triangle here, right by where it says chat, then type your questions into this text field here. Now, please don't be shy. If you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer those questions for you. So today, everyone, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take a look and see how we can go ahead and work with staff lists, as well as setting user permissions and editing user profiles. Doing both of these is one of the most important tasks that we have as administrators, working both with the public-facing staff directory and, of course, giving access, of course, to edit the website. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to go ahead and look at first is we're going to look specifically at how to edit the staff directory. So let's go ahead and take a look at Green Tech High School's staff directory. So looking over here, we're on the home page of Green Tech High School. To find the staff directory here, where we want to go is we want to go where it says parents and then click on faculty and staff. Depending on your school, what your staff directory may be called, it may be just a little bit differently, so depending on the school that you're at here. So I can go ahead and look at all of these over here, and I can click on any of these profiles. So if we take a look at Mandy's profile over here, and I can potentially view where her profile is. Depending on the setup of your school, you may or may not actually have a contact form that users can use to contact specific staff members. If I go over here to another profile, so for example, if we go to my profile over here, this is also how I can go ahead and access a teacher page, how I can also go ahead and access classes. So this is how your users can access teacher and staff pages, as well as the classes and homework feature too. Now, going ahead and taking a look at how we edit the staff directory, if we go ahead and we log into our admin system for Green Tech High School and click login, to edit the staff directory specifically where we want to go is we want to go to where these boxes are. We want to click on them and then click on settings. Then what we want to do is we want to go over here to this little drop-down menu here and select staff. And as you can see, there's quite a few different options that we have to edit our staff directory. This is where we could go if we want to. We go ahead and want to edit the name staff directory. We can go ahead and edit that here. So if we can go ahead and type in, as an example, teachers and administrators. I go ahead and click save. And now if I click refresh, we see teachers and administrators here. So that's something that's really, really cool with this here. Other options that we have include being able to go ahead and choosing the shape of the photos that are posted here. So as an example, if I prefer to have instead the rounded photos versus the square photos, I click on this here. I again click save. And then also I go back over here, click refresh, and we're able to go ahead and change the shape for those photos there. Also too, with the staff list layout, we have the ability to change that. So right now we're on the smaller layout over here. If I prefer to have larger photos, what I can do is I can go to this little drop-down menu and select large here. And then I again click save. And I can go ahead and click refresh, and we're able to go ahead and see the changes here. It makes it a lot easier to go ahead and see the photos on here too. Other options that we have as well include going ahead and changing how staff directories appear in individual departments. So the question is, what do I mean by staff directories in individual departments? So what that means is your pages, so for example, your principal's message, departments such as, for example, your athletics department or the English or math department, all of those have the ability to go ahead and have staff directories. And how you have a staff directory there, we're going to see in just a few minutes actually. It actually occurs when you go ahead and check the staff box on an individual's profile. But that is important to note that there can be staff directories on pages, on department pages as well. So just something important to note with that there. One other very important part of that there is, of course, deciding how you want to go ahead and have staff members be contacted. We have this drop-down menu where you can actually have a contact form. Basically, a user of your site, they fill that form out and it sends an email to that staff member. So it's something that's pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and enable that. Click Save. And now, if you remember with Mandy's profile, she didn't have this form here prior to this. So we just went ahead and added that there. So this is a fantastic option for you to go ahead and have for your staff to be able to go ahead and to be contacted. So this makes it so they don't have to show their email addresses on the site if they prefer not to too. Now going back over to the settings for the staff list over here, we have a few more options. Now one of those being is what it's going to be named, the staff page name and departments is going to be, so staff directory. So just going back to that, so the two options you have for that include staff list layout and departments. We have it enlarged so it will appear just like it does over here. And also with that too, what it would be called in departments as well. So now that we've had a chance to see how we can go ahead and edit the staff directory, let's take a look at another very important task that we have as website administrators. That is, of course, controlling who is able to go ahead and, of course, access our website. So going back over here and going ahead and clicking on our users, we're going to see the list of users that essentially can access the CMS system, or as we may refer to it as the admin system. Right off the bat, we're going to notice that there's users in red and users in blue. So what does that mean? Well, your users in red, these are going to be your website administrators. So what that means is they have access to all of this area over here. Whereas your users in blue, they're just going to have access to this area here. So where I clicked on my stuff, just this little area here. That is, of course, unless we give them access to edit other parts of the site. So let's go ahead and take a look at Jordan's profile. So I click on Jordan's profile over here. This is where I can go ahead, and it's important to note too, where I can go ahead and edit profiles, profile pictures, and also go ahead and change things such as email addresses as well. So that is all done in this area here too. One thing that's also very important to note, if you are planning to make use of the classes and homework feature in the site, you want to make sure that your teachers are part of the teachers community. So just something very important to note with that there. Now scrolling down over here is where we see we can go ahead and grant access for Jordan to be able to go ahead and work with specific aspects of the website, so specific parts of the website. So looking at this here, for example, if I wanted to give Jordan permission to go ahead and edit the photo album and also news and announcements, I do so by checking these boxes over here. So what that means is when Jordan logs in to his page here, what you're going to see, what Jordan will see is not only this area, these features here listed under my stuff, but Jordan will also see news and announcements in the photo album feature listed under all of those areas too. So scrolling down here just a little bit more, We also see where we can go ahead and grant Jordan access to edit what we like to call pages here. So pages, again, are anything from a principal's message, also includes academic departments as well, and clubs and activities. So you're going to notice that there's two columns over in this area here. We have our edit access column, and we also have our staff column. So they both serve different purposes. Remember I mentioned how pages and departments can have their own staff directories? Well, how we go ahead and add an individual to the staff directory is by checking any of the boxes here in the staff column. But however, if we want to go ahead and instead give them access to edit a specific page, so like for example, the video production page, we check the edit access box. So just as an example here, so let's say for example, Jordan is a part of the English department. So Jordan will be listed as a staff member for the English department, but because the edit access box is not checked, Jordan will not have access to edit that specific part of the site. However, if we look at video production, we don't have the staff box checked, but we have the edit access box. So Jordan won't be listed as a staff member for video production, but he'll be listed, or he'll be able to go ahead and edit the video production part of the site. Now, of course, to go ahead and make these changes, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and click Save. And now Jordan has access to edit those parts of the site here. Now, going ahead and clicking on users over here, one thing that is also very, very important is being able to go ahead and add a brand new user profile. So to do that, what we do is we click Add User, and just like everything else on the site, you fill out a form. It's actually the same, pretty much the same thing that we saw when we were looking at Jordan's profile. So we put the information in over here, and this is also where we can go to grant access to specific modules to different parts of the site, just like we saw with Jordan's profile there. So you can go ahead and set up a brand new profile and grant access to edit specific parts of the site, all from the same page. All right, everyone, so we've gone ahead and covered a lot of ground, so let's go ahead and review. So as we've seen here today, going ahead and editing the staff directory is very easy. You're able to go ahead and change things such as shape of the photos, even the layout for the staff directory too. You also can choose things such as whether or not to have a contact form appear on the site. We've also seen how we can go ahead and edit user permissions. And we do so, of course, by going to the user list, clicking on a specific user, clicking Update, and then scrolling down over here. And we can go ahead and either leave it so where they only have access to this area here, or grant them access to many different parts of the site. All right, everyone, at this time, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And as I'm waiting for those questions to roll on in, I'm going to show you how to get help from our team here at Educational Networks. What we want to do is we want to go over to these boxes over here, and we want to go ahead and click on Help Desk. Then what we want to do is we want to click Create a Ticket, and like everything else, what we want to go ahead and do is we want to fill out the form. Now keep in mind too that this is also where we want to go ahead if we have a technical error, if we have a chance to screenshot an error message, we can go ahead and add that screenshot to the ticket as an attachment. And I got a great question. It's actually regarding this, and the question is, do all staff members have the ability to go ahead and submit tickets? And the answer to that question is absolutely yes. So everyone has the ability to go ahead and do so. One thing to consider though, depending on the access that they have with that site there, they may or may not be able to make certain requests. So for example, someone who has a general staff account, if they want to go ahead and make a request to have something added in the navigation bar, it wouldn't be something that they would be able to request for that. It would have to be something that an administrator would request. That is an excellent question. I appreciate that. Well, everyone, I want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy days to join us here for our webinar. One thing that I do want to go ahead and give you is I want to give you a link to our knowledge base. It features how-to guides on the many different features of the site, including staff list too. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that in here. I want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy days to join us here for our webinar. Remember this, that if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at any time. My email is listed right over here. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. We also do have our phone number here for our tech support team. So clicking on dashboard over here, we have our phone number for tech support over here. Our tech support team is available from 7:30 in the morning all the way up until 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. Everyone, thank you all so much for everything that you do every day, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, everybody.